The decision seemed simple enough at first glance. Shedeur Sanders stood in a luxury showroom, choosing between a Rolls-Royce and a custom 4x4 truck, both waiting to be added to his collection. But this wasn't just another rookie splurging on draft night riches. This was a young quarterback who had reportedly just locked down a $50 million deal that the NFL couldn't touch, wouldn't regulate, and never saw coming. While traditional rookies negotiate signing bonuses and rookie-scale contracts, Sanders was playing an entirely different game, one that has left NFL owners scrambling in emergency conference calls and Roger Goodell facing questions the league office never prepared to answer. The deal itself reads like something from a new playbook that NFL executives didn't know existed. According to multiple reports, Sanders signed an ambassadorial agreement with entities in the Middle East, specifically tied to sports development initiatives in the region. The structure reportedly includes direct compensation, equity stakes in regional sports ventures, and promotional rights that extend far beyond American football. What makes this particularly stunning is the timing and the mechanism. The NFL allegedly discovered the arrangement not through traditional channels or agent notifications, but through Sanders' own social media announcement, a public declaration that sent shockwaves through league headquarters. The deal exploits what insiders are calling a prime equity clause loophole, a gap in NFL contract language that doesn't restrict players from securing international business partnerships that don't directly compete with league sponsors or broadcast partners. Most rookies and their agents wouldn't even think to explore such territory. The traditional path involves signing your rookie contract, accepting your slot money, and building your brand slowly through NFL-approved channels. But Shedeur Sanders isn't most rookies, and the implications extend far beyond one player's bank account. If he can secure $50 million in guaranteed money outside the NFL's ecosystem before ever taking a professional snap, what stops the next generation of stars from doing the same? The league's entire leverage structure depends on financial dependence, and that foundation just developed its first major crack. NFL owners built their empire on a simple premise: control the money, control the players.
I'm not excited
the salary
about
cap
participation.
structure, performance bonuses, fines for conduct, and the rookie wage scale all serve the same purpose: maintaining leverage over athletes who depend on team contracts for their livelihood. A first-round quarterback might sign a 4-year deal worth $20 million guaranteed, and that money becomes the primary tool teams use to influence behavior, demand attendance at voluntary workouts, and negotiate future extensions. But what happens when that same quarterback walks into negotiations with $50 million already secured from sources the team can't touch? The entire dynamic shifts. Financial independence translates directly into negotiating power, and NFL owners recognize an existential threat when they see one. Reports indicate that an emergency conference call took place among multiple team owners within days of Sanders' announcement becoming public. Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, reportedly pushed for immediate action to close the loophole through amended contract language. The fear isn't just about Sanders specifically, it's about the precedent. If international equity deals become standard practice for top draft picks, teams lose their primary mechanism for controlling young stars. A player who doesn't need his NFL paycheck to maintain his lifestyle can't be pressured the same way. He can hold out without financial desperation. He can demand trades without worrying about sacrificing guaranteed money. He can build a brand independently of league-approved channels. The timing of Sanders' announcement carried its own message. He made the deal public on his birthday, hosting a private party in Texas complete with fireworks and exclusive guest lists. Notably absent from the celebration were traditional NFL media outlets, league representatives, or team-affiliated personnel. This wasn't an accident. After sliding in the draft further than many analysts predicted, Sanders faced questions about his attitude, his readiness, and his ability to handle NFL pressure. The birthday announcement served as a response without words: "While you were debating my draft position, I was building an empire you can't regulate." The Cleveland Browns situation adds another layer of complexity to this narrative. Local media in Cleveland has already begun pushing quarterback controversy angles, comparing Sanders to incumbent starter Deshaun Watson. But the comparison reveals exactly why Sanders' strategy represents such a shift in player empowerment. Watson signed a fully guaranteed $230 million contract with the Browns, the largest guaranteed deal in NFL history at the time. On paper, that's financial security. But Watson's entire leverage depends on that contract structure. The Browns control his guaranteed money through the terms they negotiated. They can restructure, they can apply pressure through contract incentives, and Watson remains fundamentally dependent on the team for his financial stability. Shedeur Sanders, by contrast, enters the league with independent wealth that requires no team approval, faces no league fines, and answers to no franchise timeline. The Browns can't pressure someone who's already financially set. They can't use contract leverage against a player who doesn't need their money to maintain his standard of living. This represents the natural evolution of the nil revolution that transformed college athletics. Today's rookies aren't entering the NFL broke and desperate. Top college quarterbacks build seven-figure nil portfolios before declaring for the draft. They arrive at the negotiating table with established brands, independent revenue streams, and financial advisors who think beyond traditional contract structures. Sanders took that model and globalized it, tapping into the Middle Eastern sports investment boom that has already transformed soccer, golf, and combat sports. Oil-backed sovereign wealth funds view sports partnerships as strategic investments, and they operate on timelines and budget scales that dwarf individual NFL team resources. The NFL has spent years trying to expand into international markets, exploring games in London, Mexico City, and discussing potential franchises in Dubai or Saudi Arabia. But the league moves slowly, bound by committee decisions, ownership votes, and bureaucratic processes. Individual players, particularly those with social media reach and cultural influence, can move much faster. Sanders didn't wait for the NFL to negotiate a Saudi Arabia partnership. He built his own, and by the time league offices realized what happened, the contracts were signed and the announcement was public. Now NFL owners face a closing window. Legal experts indicate they're exploring new contract language that would restrict or regulate international equity deals for future draft classes. The problem is that contracts already signed, including Sanders' rookie deal with Cleveland, are legally protected. Teams can't retroactively add clauses to existing agreements. This means Sanders' situation becomes a blueprint that agents across the league are already studying. Sports representation firms are reportedly reaching out to clients with international business connections, exploring similar structures for players in the next draft class. The first mover advantage Sanders secured may be temporary, but the precedent is permanent. The media control aspect deserves particular attention. Traditional NFL media coverage operated on access-based leverage. Teams and the league granted or withheld media access based on reporter compliance with preferred narratives. Players who wanted positive coverage played the game, attended mandatory media sessions, and delivered safe quotes. But the digital age demolished that structure. Players with millions of social media followers don't need traditional media validation. They can speak directly to fans through YouTube, Instagram, and independent platforms. The league can't punish through access restriction anymore because access isn't the commodity it once was. Sanders' birthday party, closed to league media but broadcast through his own channels, demonstrated this power shift perfectly. Understanding the bigger picture requires stepping back from Sanders individually and examining the structural forces at play. This isn't just about one rookie making smart business decisions. This is about fundamental change in the power dynamic between players and ownership. NFL owners have spent decades building a system that maximizes their leverage through collective bargaining, salary caps, and rookie wage scales. That system depends on player dependence, financial, professional, and reputational. When players develop independent wealth sources, particularly international sources beyond league jurisdiction, the entire structure weakens. The first domino theory dominates current discussions in NFL front offices. If Sanders succeeds, if he plays well, maintains his international partnerships, and faces no significant league penalties, then every top prospect in future draft classes will demand similar deals. Agents will make international equity partnerships standard practice for first-round picks. Teams will find themselves negotiating with players who view NFL contracts as secondary income rather than primary wealth. The balance of power shifts permanently. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell faces questions he's never had to answer before. Can the league legally restrict international business deals that don't violate existing contract language or compete with league sponsors? Would such restriction survive legal challenge given antitrust concerns? How does the NFL maintain competitive balance if top picks can secure massive independent deals before entering the draft? The emergency ownership meetings continue, but solutions remain elusive. The league can potentially close the loophole for future contracts, but they can't reverse the precedent Sanders established. The contrast with traditional rookie experiences couldn't be sharper. Most first-round picks spend their signing bonus on houses, cars, and lifestyle expenses, then depend entirely on team salaries and performance bonuses for ongoing income. They hire financial advisors who help them avoid bankruptcy, not build international business empires. Sanders flipped that script entirely. His Rolls-Royce versus 4x4 decision wasn't about affordability, both were pocket change against his $50 million international deal. It was about preference, about choice freed from financial anxiety. Jerry Jones and other influential owners recognize the threat this poses to their business model. The NFL generates over $18 billion in annual revenue, but that empire depends on controlling costs through salary caps and rookie wage scales. If top talent can secure massive deals outside the system, the economic model breaks down. Teams in smaller markets can't compete with players backed by Saudi sovereign wealth funds. The competitive balance that owners claim to protect through revenue sharing becomes meaningless if star players don't need team money. The situation also raises questions about player safety and league discipline. If a player has $50 million guaranteed from international sources, does a $50,000 NFL fine for uniform violations carry any weight? Can teams motivate players through financial incentives when those players earn more from non-football partnerships? The leverage mechanisms NFL teams rely on, fines, bonuses, contract incentives, all assume players need and want team money. Sanders' deal challenges that fundamental assumption. Looking at the broader sports landscape, this development aligns with patterns visible in soccer, where players routinely sign independent sponsorship deals worth more than their club salaries. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi built business empires that made them immune to club financial pressure. NFL owners hoped American football's unique structure, with its draft system and salary cap, would prevent similar player empowerment. Sanders proved them wrong, and the implications will reshape rookie negotiations for the next generation. The $50 million Saudi deal wasn't just a business transaction, it was a declaration that the old rules no longer apply, and NFL owners are scrambling to write new ones before it's too late.